What
All
is up,
right.
everybody?
What's
I
up,
just got the
everybody?
invite just because I was watching a video, so I had to check my notifications.
No worries. Welcome in. Got a few people in. So bear with us here. Our moderators are not in yet, so we're going. So if I miss your comment, I do apologize. We'll try to answer all your questions as they come up through here. But so welcome back to another episode of What's in Your Portfolio, episode 19. We do this every week usually, but it's been busy. As you guys know, my name is Sal. Other guy online is Cody, if you're watching on the YouTube and Twitter and Twitch side. But definitely glad to have you guys in here. This is Simply Investing. Every Sunday we go over our gains and losses of our portfolio, how we're adapting, answering your guys' questions, stock picks, finance picks, whatever you want to talk about. I also own a moving company, logistics company, part ownership of a construction company. I also own a furniture store now, buying out the other party to finish out the ownership of that, as well as I invest in stocks, crypto, and of course real estate. And I have a pretty good real estate holding. So shout out to everybody. Shout out to Eyes Wide Shut. Love the name. Bro looks tired. Yeah, I am ridiculously tired. I was so tired, like I couldn't even notice myself snoring. So that's how tired it's been. But we had such a busy week leading up. This is kind of the last busy week of the season, moving, and it's just been nonstop. And then after I get back from Thanksgiving, it will be full swing into the logistics side as we do final mile deliveries and everything like that. But as you guys know, the market's starting to pull back a little bit. We are
I'm glad.
seeing some downward trends. Greed and fear index is back at 72, and we have the market just shy of 1.4 trillion at 1.39. Trading volume is down 25% to 36.27 billion. Shout out to Robert. Welcome back in, buddy. Good morning to you too. Hope you're having a wonderful day from Texas. Glad to have you in here. Or is that Puerto Rico? I think it's Texas. So not sure. I get the flag of this stuff, but glad to have you in here, buddy. Shout out to Getty Tulsa. Vote Democrats and Republicans out. Cornell West 2014. Let's break the two-party system. Actually, buddy, if you want to go back to one of our lives, I think it was like maybe a week or two ago, but all our replays are on YouTube. We talked about the political system, how voting, I think it was last Wednesday, that we talked about how the two-party system may change or may go to a four-party system in the future. I don't know how quickly that'll happen, but it appears that this might be the defining moment. So it's kind of funny that you tweeted that you did that. But yeah, it was how the election is gonna affect your portfolio, something like that. But as you guys can hear, I'm still up. Let's see here. I did do a huge investment on Caspa this morning. I put quite a bit in there.
Heck yeah. Caspa's a good pick.
So it's up to 5% of my portfolio. Right now, my total crypto portfolio is at 1.991 million. So I'm pretty close. We're only 9,000 away from breaking that 2 million mark. But we're up 13% compared to the beginning of the month. And with a nice steady gain of 13% gain. My stocks, we broke the 2 million mark, and we are at about an 8% gain for the month. But however, my only bad performing stock out of that whole bunch has been Walmart. Walmart is down like 2% compared to what it was at the beginning of the month. But that's to be expected. My biggest
Me personally, speaking of Walmart, I don't agree. And this isn't biased because I lost my job there, but I will say I don't agree with all of Walmart's business tactics. I really don't.
No, but they do sell they sell the necessities. But I will say this: Target is going to kick Walmart's butt. It's going to kick Walmart's butt this coming around because they took a completely different stance, and it looks very similar to how online orders were done at Radio Shack. So I'm thinking the person that implemented this process probably was one of the VPs at Radio Shack. But what they're doing is they're no longer going to have distribution centers. They're only going to have like a few main ones to facilitate their stores and just receive bulk inventory. But the rest of it is actually going to the stores are going to facilitate the online orders, like
Oh, that's cool.
everything like that. I think that's going to beat the crap out of Walmart and Amazon. Shout out to C Entry. Thanks for the follow. And shout out to the Go Bros, the next Elon Musk. That's going to take forever to get there. I would be surprised if I end my journey with a 9-figure net worth, which would just be capping 100 million. That would be a phenomenal. I would have a better chance of winning the lottery than that to happen.
My goal in 2 years is to make at least 200,000+ from crypto in the next 2 to 3 years with all my investments, with all the hard work I'm doing, because I get paid weekly now instead of bi-weekly. So it's like every Friday I'm DCAing. I'm not putting all of my money into it. I'm going to leave spending money, obviously, for me to survive. But like I'd say 95% of my money is going in crypto. And I'm totally fine with that. Most people would call me a degenerate, but I'm totally fine with it. I'm 23. I feel good at 23. Like I'm energetic. I got that testosterone flowing. Like shit. I'll take my risk.
Yeah, there you go. Well, Cody's situation a little different, but shout out to Cody because he did get that management position at Come and Go. So good job to him, and then he's able to level up his income. Because like I keep telling you guys, your biggest asset, especially in your younger years, is how much income you're making. If you can increase that, along with putting away as much as you can towards investments, you'll come into your 30s in a great position. Shout out to Reptile King. Good morning to you too, buddy. I hope you're having a great day. I'm doing well. I'm tired, but I'm doing well. Plans for Thanksgiving. Finally, I get to have a trip back to New Jersey to see my dad and have Thanksgiving with my whole family. Finally, it took 6 years to get to that point, but finally we're able to do it, and hopefully come back a little more refreshed. I probably will do some lives with you guys while I'm out in New Jersey, but we'll have to see how the timing goes. So
I do want to talk about the
Go ahead.
Ethereum ETFs because it seems like on the 24-hour, I'm not saying in general, we all know the Bitcoin dominance is higher than ETH. We all know Bitcoin dominance is putting in new highs compared to the ETH pair. However, on the 24-hour, when it comes to the ETF news, like ETH is actually holding up well right now just because of these ETF news. Do I think that it'll come out soon? Well, I just think it's hype right now. We keep getting these waves of ETF hype, it seems like. But hopefully by mid to the end of December, when Christmas is around, the markets kind of settle down. Because I remember last year in January, markets were just dead, especially on New Year's. I hope we get that same pattern to where we get some more accumulation months. Because I don't want to see ETH at $3,000. When ETH starts hitting $3,000, that is when it's going to be really harder for people like your average Joe to accumulate ETH once it hits 3,000 and up. I think once it stays 2,000 and below is a good accumulation phase, but I think for your average Joe, once Ethereum hits 3,000 and up, it's going to be really hard for people to get a good amount, and that's why I'm hoping we see a 1,500 and below, maybe 1,700 Ethereum.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see how this is going how it's going to play out, because it's definitely playing out a little different than I expected. Shout out
Me
to
too.
Robert. What's the name of the investment this morning? Well, this morning we don't really talk about any specific investments. We're just kind of going over our portfolios, my real estate investments, businesses, finance, everything that's kind of
It would
going
be
on.
crazy to talk about one investment for an hour. I don't know if that'd even be possible for us.
Yeah, but we have a few topics we're going to go over, Robert, and hopefully you can stick around. But Do appreciate you guys joining in. Hope you guys like and subscribe, follow us, and let's get this live going. Like the live, so we can see if we could break that record of 21.8K likes on a live. Shout out to Boone and AV. Hope I got that right. What will the holiday do to the crypto market? Usually it starts stagnating. Well, we have a ramp up to Thanksgiving, and then we have a drop off during December. However, it looks like we're going to start to see the drop off before actual Thanksgiving. But also, I have a feeling like Black Friday, Cyber Monday are going to be very bad numbers compared to the other years. So that might also cause the drop to happen faster. We're kind of hoping for 1,700, but if we have a bad start to the holiday season for retailers, we might see a 1,500 ETH, kind of like back in the high
I hope
20,000
so.
Bitcoin, and of course the altcoin market will suffer greatly. Shout out to Nugget Ninja, love that name. How's Ethereum doing? It's holding up better. It's holding up better than Bitcoin. It's holding
In
its
terms of the 24-hour.
Yeah, in terms of the 24 hours. However, it's still the volume of trading on it is pretty low
It's,
for today.
I
Like there's
mean,
not a
look
lot of
at compare the volume of ETH to Bitcoin. I mean, they're pretty close. Usually, Ethereum's volume is at least 50% of Bitcoin's, but they're actually pretty close. I'm pretty sure Bitcoin is at 10 billion and ETH is at like 6.4.
Yeah, let me take a look here.
Because usually ETH is 50% of Bitcoin's volume, but now they're pretty close as of right now, just because of the ETF hype.
Yeah,
ETF
we're
hype does a
looking
lot
at
to the markets now.
exactly. Well, we're looking at 6.7 billion in trading volume for ETH and about 10.3 billion in
Oh, I
Bitcoin.
was right. Heck yeah.
So, and it's looking like everyone else is kind of tailing off. XRP is at 923 million. We have Solana at 1.9 billion. We have Chainlink at 550 million. Polkadot at 145 million. We have Hedera at 45 million. And let's see where Quant is. Quant is at 15 million in trade volume. And it finally is below the $100 mark. Shout out to CryptoZilla. Glad to have you in here. AIOZ, is that a stock or a crypto that you'd like us to take a look at? Just let me know so I could find that for you, buddy. Shout out to Nugget Ninja. Damn, my prediction is Ethereum will overtake Bitcoin.
No.
I don't think so, but I think it's going to be holding that top spot for a while. There. AIOZ. Let's take a look at
It
AI.
could temporarily, but it's not permanently. I don't see ETH like permanently taking over Bitcoin. Do I see it temporarily? Like, let's say if we get a crazy freaking bull run and we have all this excess liquidity and ETH is just soaking it up like a sponge. Yeah, ETH will take the first place just temporarily. But once people take profits and once that bull run kind of settles down, you'll see Bitcoin. Bitcoin is always the safe haven. Like people talk about like stable coins and all that. Bitcoin is usually the safe haven in crypto. When people take their profits, they just want to chill. Bitcoin is that safe haven.
Exactly. And plus a lot of institutions, a lot of trading firms are starting to allocate somewhere between 3 and 5% holdings into Bitcoin.
Oh yeah.
So Bitcoin's value is going to stay pretty high.
We are going to see that with ETH though, with these ETFs, these institutions dabbling in.
Oh yeah, we eventually once they get their fill of Bitcoin, the institutions will move on to Ethereum.
Oh yeah.
It's just going to be like clockwork. And the ETF is only going to help spur that along, as well as since you need Ethereum to do NFT trading and all that other stuff, and trading ERC20 tokens and things like that. So Ethereum's gonna hold its value too, but I think Bitcoin's gonna rise higher than Ethereum in the first part because the institutions are going to be buying Bitcoin on a regular basis. Um, let's we'll get to CryptoZilla's pick in a second. And shout out to Kev. We'll get to that pick as well. Is that a crypto too, or is that a stock? But also thanks for the follow too. Really appreciate you joining in. Shout out to Crypto Caddy. Welcome in. Glad to have you in here. One of our great supporters. Hope you're having a great morning too. Uh, and shout out to Innovative Concept Solutions. Thanks for the follow. Really appreciate that. Looking for XRP to at least hit $1.50 or $1.75 for 2023. Well, I don't think that's going to happen, but it all depends. Because if it turns out that we have a great Black Friday weekend and sales and businesses do well, we might have a crazy shoot up in all markets because the stock market's doing phenomenally well on all aspects. And like I was right before Cody jumped in on there, like I said, like I had quite a few big movers in stocks. So it's like I had Microsoft, which went up like $77,000 on my holdings. Porch Moving Group, which over 100% increase, went from 89,000 to 192,000. We also have Coinbase increasing that holdings up to 84. Like it went up over 10%, and 10% increase for me. And most of my stocks are up about 8 to 9% for the month on there. With the exception of a few that are kind of falling down, which is to be expected. And I'll be buying more of those stocks as we go. But if that all depends if we have a great holiday week, if this coming weekend is going to be good. But anyway, let's take a look at AIOZ Network. It's not. It looks like it had a significant run, up over almost 500% on the month. But if we take a look at the trading volume, we're at 23 million. Market cap is 67 million. Trading volume shot up to over 2,200%, which makes it really, really unique there. Let's take a look and see what this is about. Let's see here. AI Oz Network is a distributed CDN built on our very own blockchain. Users share memory storage, bandwidth, resources to create. And I guess it's for sharing content. I'm guessing that's what it's for. Is for storing and sharing content between each other instead of having everybody to buy multiple copies of something. I'm guessing that's what it's like, and using the various nodes to support it. Sounds like a good idea. Kind of have to do a little bit deeper dive on it. But the one thing I could say there, CryptoZilla, is that on the long haul, it doesn't look too good. If you look at the all chart, it's been kind of dead, but it hasn't disappeared. But it's been kind of dead. So I don't know. That's pretty crazy that we had that pull up, but it had this huge run during a month in time frame where everybody was up. So I don't know yet. We'll have to take a closer look at it. Something I would follow, but not really start putting a lot of money into. Let's go ahead and take a look at Kev's pick. QUBIC. Apparently, it's a layer 1 cap. So let's see here. There's no charts on it yet, so I guess it hasn't even launched yet. So we'll have to see. I'm very questionable about things that are launching yet because it's kind of hard. But you said check out CoinGecko. Let's see if we could do it here. See. Okay, yeah, it looks like it just yeah, it looks like still just launched. I'm sharing this tab for you guys here too. It's hard for me to gauge what happened because it's still pretty new. I see it has launched, but it's still pretty new there. All right, I guess Cody's mic just finally stopped the feedback there.
What feedback?
I don't know. I just hear
What
something
feedback
like,
are you talking about?
or it's like, it was like, it sounds like you were like moving stuff, maybe, like
No, I'm playing the
moving.
game. It might be my controller.
Oh, okay, I got you. But no worries there. It seemed to finally, I guess, stopped picking it up. Well, there, Kev, it's hard for me to give on. It's hard for me to give an analysis on it since it just launched. I'd have to actually like start looking at the websites and everything for you. I'm just a little leery on doing this, on going out with fresh new coins because you're most likely providing a liquidity for someone else, but it's hard to say because even Quant started out like this too. But I'll have to really take a look into it to give you a good idea. Shout out to Sergic Banger, another one of our longtime supporters. Glad to have you back in. What's your thoughts on leverage trading USDC above 100x? Well, I don't like leverage trading at all. That's just from my experience of being on the stock market and working in trading firms. It's usually a bad idea to do it, especially since right now there's so many macro environments that could swing it in a direction you're not anticipating. What you're placing your bet on. That's a lot of leverage. I don't like doing that. It's like but that's just me. I just don't like taking that type of leverage. I focus more on cash flow. So I built businesses to get cash flow to invest in other things. So if I lose that money, that's it. If I make money off of it, great. That's kind of where I wanted to go on that. Shout out to Darrell. I got 1K to put in crypto besides Ethereum and Bitcoin. How would you spend the 1K in different crypto?
I would start out with 250 in Polkadot, 250 in Quant. You're already at $500, and then throw the rest of the $500 into ETH, so that way you have some ETH to be able to move your Quant one day. So, pretty much 500 in ETH, 250 in DOT, 250 in Quant. There you go. That's a good 1K portfolio start right there.
I would probably say the same thing. It's either DOT or Chainlink. I wouldn't get
Yeah.
Bitcoin yet. I would build your Ethereum because the other tokens that you will get, you probably will need Ethereum to trade them out of your hard wallet. So, and also make sure you get a hard wallet too.
And that's if
Don't
you have a hard wallet. Don't store it on an exchange because a lot of people last bull run, it was mainly like the millennials too. They're so used to the days of like trusting a broker and being on an app. And no, those, in my opinion, the best way is just either get a Ledger or a Treasure. I'd say Ledger only because Ledger has all the coins. Like Ledger has
Mhm.
literally all the altcoins except for like shitcoin zero. Treasure is cool, but it's mainly for Bitcoin and Ethereum holders. They don't really have any alts like Quant or Dot on there.
Yeah. Yep. So that's what I would do. And then if you're going to dollar cost average in, I would stick to that ratio until you get to about 5,000, and then maybe add like Chainlink or Quant, and then just keep going from there. Like I wouldn't put too much focus on getting Bitcoin when you have a low amount yet, but also make sure you're also putting money into your reserve fund too, because you don't want to withdraw from your crypto investments and lose out on gains or have or forced to take losses because you need the money to cover a living expense. So, but
I've had to go through that myself. Like I over leveraged as in using most of my money and barely leaving any for myself. I don't play with leverage. I don't do any of that options calls or anything like that. I just simply buy and hold. But even it is addictive to buy crypto. I will say that you get that dopamine, adrenaline rush. That I made that investment, you know. But you have to leave money for yourself and survival. I learned that shit the hard way.
Mhm. Yeah, you don't want to not have money for unknown expenses, especially if you got a car or if you're living on your own. You want to make sure that you have all those bills covered and that your savings is well stocked, so that way if there is a hiccup in your income or your job, that you don't have to worry about withdrawing from your crypto, taking hits, and having to pay taxes on it
I
while
luckily bounced back quick because for those of you who haven't been watching, I did lose my job. I was working at Walmart, but I got a different job like literally a week later. So I was lucky enough to be in that situation. But not every time you lose a job can you find another one ASAP. Even if you apply to, at any old job, it's like even that could take time. So you always want to leave money out because it's not always quick to get a job. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not.
oh yeah, it's like don't assume that you're going to get a job quickly. Always assume the worst case scenario and assume that you might not have a job for a year or two. So try to plan your savings towards that. Shout out to Innovative Concept Solutions. How can someone recommend a good plan on trading view so I can load more pairs? Um, I don't trade like that. I used to trade like that when I was a trader, but I don't really do that type of stuff. I just invest into companies I know have longevity and will have longevity and will pay me a great dividend. Um, I do also I do, and for crypto it's kind of the same thing. So it's I just invest in plans that work change or companies that work and projects that I believe in. So, I mean that's how I do. I don't really do much of that trading anymore because I spend most of my time on businesses, so my investments have to be put the money in, let it
Has to.
sit, invest in things that I believe will pay out in the long run. So I'm sorry, innovative. I can't answer that question for you because that's just not something I do. Because I know Cody's probably got something to say, but let me say this real quick, and that's because I don't view it. I'm not trying to get rich quick off of my investments or try to make a lot of money quickly. What I'm trying to do is just invest, build, grow, invest, rebuild, and grow. So, like right now, we're getting ready to bottom out of the recession. My biggest game plan is I have a little bit of money set aside to buy out my competitors. So I'm just waiting for that time to strike on in that area, and then same thing. It's just once the market says, "Hey, it's now time for a big splurge and buy," that's what I do, and I just wait until we're at a point where I want to sell. But shout out to Innovative. I'm mainly an investor, but this is mainly for viewing and charting. It's hard to compare. I don't like to compare other companies to other companies because every company has a different business model, different process, different earnings, different potential. So different way about that they're going to go and do things. Um, Shout out to Dalton Kronos. It is making a comeback. I definitely think it's going to do well for the bull run. I'm no longer invested into it. I unlocked it and sold it all once the unlocking for the card took place, and that's it. And I don't even use the credit card anymore. But it has a use for crypto.com, so it'll probably be around. And I think crypto.com will be in the top. I think you're probably going to have like Binance, crypto.com, and Coinbase being the top
Coinbase.
three.
I like Coinbase, to be honest. I actually just bought Coinbase One recently. I got a free trial to it. I'll see if I want to stay subscribed to it. But honestly, I don't know if it actually saves you money or not, because I feel like regardless, you're paying about the same. But Coinbase One just has
Mhm.
a little bit more perks, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit more perks. Crypto.com teaches more people about crypto through their little program as up, and they give you free crypto for doing those little training sessions. But it's mostly Crow. But yeah, Crow could easily, yeah, it could 10x. I don't know about 20x, but it can go 10x for you. Um, Shout out to System. Uh, every time I see that, I keep thinking of System of the Down. Let's see your username, but glad to have you in here. What do you think about Vanguard ETF? Um, I don't know. I have the feeling like you're better off with well, one, I just don't like to give Vanguard any of my money. That's just my policy. I even turned down their 401k program for my company. I'm gonna go with someone that's a little bit more expensive. It's just because I don't like giving that big of a company access to my workers' money and stuff like that, but that's just my personal opinion. But I have a feeling like just a regular the I think you just buying the top 100 companies will outperform the Vanguard ETF. Shout system. I don't use them to trade. Uh, not saying that either, but Vanguard offers a lot of things, including um, 401k programs for companies. So it is something that is it's like they manage a lot. But as far as their ETF, I mean, it's performed reasonably well compared to the market. Let me pull that up for you guys. I gotta log in for here. Give me a second. Give me a second. Oh, come on, we're gonna. Let me. So, I don't know why it's not pulling up there. Come on, switch over. Finally, good lord. All right. Let me just see here. Let me find the one that you were talking about. There it is. Information technology sector, ETF. Oh man. Well, it definitely performed very well. I'll have to say that it has performed very well. Let me share this tab. That's a little glitchy. It's performed. I mean, it's up. For the year, as of the 17th, 43%, 43.5%. Up 20% year to date so far. But I don't know. You might, because you would have gotten better monthly return. Because right now, it's looking like it's going to start heading down. But you've been better off picking the top 100 companies in the Dow, and you probably would have made, because that's basically what I have, and I'm up 8% on the month for, and in the long run, I'm up quite a bit. But you can invest into it. It is they have it FCCI insured and stuff like that through Vanguard, so you can get it. It's not going to lose you. It's not going to lose you money, but it will. It will make. I just think investing in some other companies would be a little better in the long run. But if they're in the technology sector, they're probably very AI focused. And right now, AI isn't. The AI companies are in a bubble, and it's eventually going to pop. And then they'll go down, and then that information technology will disappear. Oh man. So I kind of hope that answers that for you, buddy. Shout out to System. I'm waiting on the pop. That'd be a good idea, because once it pops, the ETF will drop, and then you can just dollar cost average as it's dropping down. And that'd probably be a good play, because it'll eventually come back. But in about 5 or 6 years, you'll make a lot of money buying it on its way down. I guess another topic to talk about is I know a lot of you guys, like, I saw quite a few people messaging, kind of on here messaging for what should I say, like giving me, or like commenting about missing the pumps and everything. It's like, that's not what I really focus on. It's very hard to constantly try to find these pumps.
It is.
Most people don't tell you that 99% of the time they lose on them. Your best strategy is pick the ones that are winning in the long term, and the ones you understand and believe in.
I don't believe in going short term, just because it's like, let's say even if you have bills, your living situation, it's like a lot of your money goes to bills. Even with you just putting little bits in and in and in every 2 weeks or however often you get paid, it's like that performs so much better than trying to freaking day trade or find the
Mm-hmm.
micro cap gems at 100x. Like, you will perform better than most of those people. And I hate to break it to most people, but most of these 100x micro caps, they're all liquidity traps.
Yes, and unfortunately, a lot of people get caught up in them. But let me tell you something. I didn't build my net worth with all my companies and everything, and the real estate and everything. The valuations of what I could potentially, quote, potentially get is about 19.3 million is what my net worth is on paper after all liabilities and all that crazy stuff, right? It took an awful lot of suffrage to get to that point. But at the same time, I don't have slow problems that you get with fast money. And shout out to Crypto Caddy, and not pay short-term capital gains tax. Yeah, a lot of them aren't even paying the capital gains tax, which don't think you can't overtake the IRS. They know, they watch, they're just waiting. They're actually just waiting for you to fuck up. That's basically what they're doing. And they don't come until it's like a really big number. Um, Shout out to user 8469, Trump 2024. I don't know. We'll have to see who comes out. I think all I know about the 2024 election is just going to be crazy.
I
That's
wouldn't be
what I
mad about I wouldn't be mad about Trump winning, to be honest. I wouldn't be mad.
I would just be happy with anyone but Biden.
Yeah, same.
That's pretty much it. And I have a feeling there's some nefarious things that he's doing, or that him and his sons are doing. But
Everything about him is just sketchy, in my opinion. Biden, everything about him.
hmm yeah, so it's like I just don't really trust him per se enough. Shout out to Kalihi. I hope I got that name right. Just joining. How does one start investing with little money? Well, the that's a tough question because I understand if you're looking for investing as a way to get rich, it's probably not going to happen off of a very little bit of money. I wouldn't be able to invest, even investing with the amounts that I have, be able to build like $100 million out of nothing really quick. It'd be very, 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 very difficult and highly risky. What I would say to you, Callie, is first off, build a financial plan. See where you want to be. See how you want to be and where you want to go. Sorry about that. I got a call coming in. Um, see where you want to be and what the cost of your life is, where the cost of living you want to be at. Then start saying what can you save, because you need to have an emergency savings so that you're not pulling out of your investments. And then once you build that where you can cover 6 months, then you can start dollar cost averaging in. I'd recommend stocks first and then go into crypto afterwards. Crypto, it has the potential to make some money, but it's also very risky. I mean, the money I have in crypto, I'm comfortable if it disappears. So like I have almost a $2 million portfolio. If it disappears, I'll be upset, but it doesn't destroy me. If you invest everything in crypto and then crypto just disappears, or regulation or something happens to where you no longer have it, we don't want to put you in a position where you lost everything. You you want to partial out how much in each investment category is where we're is what you're allocating, and only invest money you're willing to lose. Shout out to Reptile King. What are we talking about? Just investing in general, questions, checking up on stocks, going over portfolios. Speaking of which, I haven't even talked about my businesses. My moving company, I'm finally actually I might actually break 10 million. I know I keep saying we will, we won't, we will, we won't, but I just signed on an agreement which is going to kickstart in December. So that might be just enough to push me over the 10 million mark for my moving company. But it does also seem like we had a nice surge. Like I'm up 28% on cash flow for last week. So it seems like we're starting to head in the right direction. But as far as that, the furniture store that I have is looking like it's going to go. We're going to have to shrink some more, but we are in profitability. Just it's not worth it after all that to make like hay pennies on the dollar. Man, that guy was spending an absolute outrageous amount of his money on advertising. That's the thing that people don't understand, the power of doing things yourself. Figure out how to market yourself, learn how to do it. Don't just say, well, I'm going to pay someone to do it, because then you got to pay their profit, and they're taking their profit out of your profit. So what I do is I try to do everything myself as much as I can in-house before I really have to start paying someone else to do it. But by then they're not taking a chunk of my earnings to do it. But I hope that Kalahi, that makes sense. But don't just moonshot everything you got. Don't take your savings and put it into crypto. What you should do is just take a little bit aside every time you get paid and put it in. And same thing with stocks. I'd recommend 50-50. If you got 100 to put in crypto, put 150, 100 at least, but probably 150 into stocks. Build both at the same time. You don't have to. This kind of thing about the market, you don't have to be all in. You just have to be in. And the quicker you start that dollar cost averaging process, the better. You could also do like your dollar cost averaging into crypto and then do like Acorns too. Although Acorns does not have a good performance record, I would if you don't know what stock, if you're not much of a stock picker, which 99% of us aren't, invest in Betterment and Wealthfront. Even I have a Betterment and Wealthfront accounts that I steadily put money into, but I only put it in once a year into those. But it's once you can either start the diversification process when you're just building, or you could build up one asset and then diversify down the road when you make money off of that one asset.
See, that's more of the route I'm going.
Yeah, and it also depends on your age there, buddy. We don't know how old you are, because if you're 50, I would say probably want to do more Betterment than crypto, because right now we're risking too much to get too big of a it puts you in that scammer territory, because your mindset would be, I have to get a lot of money quickly, and that's where the scammers can feed off of you. So it's better to stay in Betterment and then put the money you're willing to lose into crypto. But if you're 20 like Cody, then you can go crypto. Then when we get the bull run, divest out and then put into stocks and real estate. I recommend real estate first. Go get yourself an FHA loan, go get a multi-unit property, and then just build from there. And then just every 2 years get another property. And by the time you're in your 30s, you have like maybe 20 doors. You're cash flowing like 13 grand a month, and you're able to really reinvest into other things. But with that saying, I know it's a pretty short live. I got really nothing else to talk about, and then it's going to be Thanksgiving. This holiday is going to either prove the recession is still has a bottom to hit, or is done with, and it's on the rebound. But either way, the markets are going to be highly volatile. They're either going to skyrocket from good news or plummet from the bad news. I just don't know. Right now, people are having a hard time filling up their cars. Repossessions are on the high rise. The used car market's not looking too good right now. Dealerships are about ready to go.
I do have a question, though. Do you think 2008 was a lot worse than this?
Yes. 2008 was a lot worse because everybody almost went bankrupt. Like almost the entire system shut down. So we had 90% of small businesses close their doors, 70% of regional mid-cap companies, and then of course like 40% of large cap companies shut their doors. Like a lot of places went out of business.
Do you think
time?
Because the way I see it is like groceries. I don't know how it was in 2008 because I was only 8, but it seems like now, yeah, the groceries didn't seem like they were this high in 2008.
No, it wasn't. Like I remember $200. I got my month groceries, and now $200 is like I can get the meat for the month, and I'm spending an extra $200 getting like fruits and vegetables and stuff like that every week, like an extra 50 every week. So I'd say I'm probably spending 3 times as much as I was in 2008 on the food, but also I'm also eating healthier now than I was before. I'll just buy my stuff at like a regular grocery store. Now I go to like the Atkins specialized market, and I'm buying like healthier options. Like I spent like $400 on meat. So like, grass fed beef, eggs, um, what else was it? Lamb, salmon, fish. I'm buying shrimp a lot too. So like all that's a little more expensive. Like I would have to say like my income has increased, so my tastes have increased. But I could see overall like the normal things like milk, eggs, cereal, coffee. Coffee's expensive. I drink a lot of coffee. I could tell you right now, the normal cans of coffee that I get used to be like $2.99 in 2008. And now we're talking about $10 for it. So yes, and the average person is spending more on groceries, spending more on insurance, both healthcare, car insurance, homeowners or renters insurance. Fuel is costing more. energy is costing more, so your energy bills are going up. It's looking too good. Um, Shout out to Innovative. Coffee is crazy. Sugar and coca too. Yeah, it's all going up. Shout out to Darrell. Do you have shares in Ripple? The IPO, I mean. I do have private equity shares in Ripple that I get through LinkQ. Um, they have a few ways that you can become qualified as an accredited investor. But let's hear right now, because I bought a lot of shares, as much as I could, at the last round of funding. So I got 4,300 shares in Ripple. It's not a lot, but right now that evaluation is hitting at $297,000 right now. Shout out to Innovative. Wheat is a stock watch. Are you talking about commodities? Commodity to wheat? Because commodities might be something to get into, but we're actually going back to the way it was when I grew up, where you're not going to have everything available all year long. You're going to have certain fruits and vegetables. Like I remember we had to wait till strawberries were in season, plums, pineapples, things. So when the stuff came, people bought all of it and then they would can it, or like my mom would concentrate it and freeze it, and then we would cut chunks off of it, and then that's how we would make juice and mix it with water. And that was back that was 80s and early 90s. It wasn't until I was Cody's age that we got the economy that we have now. No, I think maybe even older than that, because I remember stuff was still in season. Like now you can get anything you ever wanted whenever you want. And that was based on factory farming and truckers. And since we have a lot of truckers, and now that, and it's weird, it's like kind of like a side note. Like I noticed there's a lot, like, oh, excuse me, a lot less. Boy, that cleared my nose. A lot less wildlife out there. Like I was driving, going down to do a job in El Dorado, Arkansas. I noticed I didn't see any birds. It's really weird.
Yeah, I
Maybe
mean,
like
I've seen
Miami.
a dead bird in my area. There's a dead, Kristen Flats, the parking
Mm.
garage. I saw a dead bird under there. Actually, I still see wildlife, but I see less. Like when I was a kid, like I remember I would wake up and I'd hear the birds chirping outside, and you'd hear those beautiful nature noises. It's like now I don't really hear much of that.
Yeah, and that's kind of affecting farm, because whether you have factory farming or just the traditional form of farming that we're doing, it needs all the bugs, the wildlife, all that stuff that adds to the system. And because everyone's using Monsanto stuff, you're killing everything. So now it's like we used to have a ton of bugs. Like there was like fall bugs, like yeah, beetles, uh spiders, they long legs, things like that. They'd just be everywhere. And now now it's like what happened? Even my office, this time of year, I would get tons of spider webs like 3 years ago. Now all of a sudden it's like I'm not seeing any. That's a pretty bad sign. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm pretty sure the plan's gonna be here. Maybe we won't be here. I don't know. It's
If the
just very weird.
planet's I mean, this is my opinion. I don't know everybody's religious beliefs. Don't take any offense to this, but in my opinion, it seems like if the Earth is still here and people are gone, that's God coming. That's pretty much. I don't know if he would. I don't know if God would restart the world at that point. Add new people or what. But I mean, if the Earth's still here, but we're all gone, then that means God has already came.
Well, I guess you could take it, but I think it's more of we did it to ourselves, because a lot of it's just we put like the pesticides we use. It's just like everyone used to use hairspray and aerosol cans in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and we destroyed the ozone layer. But then like late 90s came around, and we were for the 80s and 90s, we were suffering greatly. Like sunburn was like the sun was literally killing people. Like you can go out, get a deep burn, and all of a sudden you got skin cancer in one day. Whereas then all of a sudden, like the late 90s came around, someone came up with a laser printer, and someone made it so that way it could be like a $200 item instead of a $20,000 item. And the byproduct of a laser printer was it produces ozone. And after about 20 years of most first world countries having everybody having a laser printer, everybody printing out stuff. Because I was at the time, like no one had GPS yet. So you were still printing out directions. We went from maps to print out MapQuest. So people were just printing out direction after direction. So, just eventually the ozone refreshed itself. And now we're kind of going back to where we were. So, but it's just kind of interesting. I just noticed, like, you don't have a lot of wildlife, and that's going to affect farming. So the price of wheat, barley, soy, coffee, sugar is probably going to go up because there's going to be less of it. But then again, in 20 years, there's going to be less people.
This is totally random and out of the blue, but I do want to talk about cigarette prices. Let's talk about that because I'm not a smoker myself. I don't like cigarettes, but I noticed, like, I heard back in the day, like American Spirits would be like $3-4 a pack. Now they're at fucking $12 a pack. Like, and I know this because I work at Come and Go, but it's like they know, Big Tobacco knows that cigarettes and tobacco in general, it's a forever increasing asset. Like, it's a stable, steady increasing asset for the rest of humanity because you can't ban cigarettes, you can't outlaw tobacco products. There's too many laws and protections, and plus there'd be public outcry. I understand that, but it's like, man, like Big Tobacco and just everybody, it's just a forever wealth creation, tobacco and cigarettes.
Yeah. It's like when I remember when I was Cody's age, like $5 got you a pack of Marlboros with tax. It was even $5 even. And then now it's like my home state.
I will say though, the Marlboro Blacks, those are like $6 a pack right now. Like for the black golds, black reds, those are around $6. But like for your traditional like reds and menthols and stuff, yeah, those are like 10 and up, 9 and up. And I don't smoke. I'm not promoting that. It just goes along with the economy. Just like, for example, coffee, sugar, all those things will go up. Like they understand that. And I mean they as in like the higher ups, the elites and all that, but they understand that all of this stuff, it's a forever wealth engine. I mean, society itself is. I mean, we were given freaking social security numbers that they make money off of, but that's a different topic. But I think overall, the only way you can quote unquote eat the rich, and I know a lot of people like to use the term eat the rich, but the only way you can truly do that is making smart decisions. Like the only way, I'm not saying smart decisions will save you right now, but it will save you down the line. Like right now, like if you're going through it financially, you just gotta, I mean, I know this freaking term pisses me off too. People say the pull up the bootstraps thing, whatever. But it's like over time, over a long period of time, the only way to truly eat the rich is just playing strategically and just going against what your average Joe tells you.
Yeah.
That's the only way you can truly eat the rich. Strategically be good with finances, avoid consumer debt, avoid student loan debt if you don't need it. Or if you do have student loan debt and you go to college, make sure to find a way to pay that off. But it's like that is truly the only way we as a society can go against the elite. Just improve, not even just financially, but mentally too. Like a lot of people like TikTok. This is a whole different topic as well, but it's like TikTok is damaging the youth. It's damaging all this social media stuff. It's all just damaging people's vibrations and mental health that goes along with making money. Because if you're on a low vibration, low frequency, and you're constantly sad or insecure, that goes along with your ability to make money.
Yes, it absolutely does. Real quick before I touch on that topic, shout out to Innovative, almost a year tobacco free here. That's great. Keep it going, buddy. Hopefully we can see you at year 2. But that's definitely an accomplishment in itself. Shout out to Crypto Cleaner. SIGs are just like any other vice. People will pay, so they'll charge. Exactly. Just like any addiction, people will charge you just to get so you can get your fix. Shout out to Innovative. They call it the sin tax, alcohol and tobacco. Yep. Those are 2 things they just tax the crap out of. And I mean the crap out of. But
I do like the term syntax. I never thought of that one.
Yeah, I think it's like an old term. Like you can't get people to, they can't ban it, so they just tax
it.
Yeah, just tax it. But Cody's right in a lot of things. It's like the attention spans are depleted. The younger generation has a warped view of how things actually work, and that's only feeding into the quote unquote wealthy elite that people want to talk about. Because and then when you get debt and you get stuff like that, all you're doing is shackling yourself down, so you'll never be able to. You're basically working to survive, not working to live anymore.
And that's when you're in a tough one. That's a lot of people's situation. There's no judging on anybody. Like I hate when people judge people for their financial situation. The only thing you can truly do is just better it. I mean, that's corny, that's a duh, but it's like I hate the idea of judging somebody just because they're quote unquote broke or they're poor. Like I don't like that. Like I don't like when people do that. It's ugly, and God doesn't like ugly.
Yeah, it's like everyone's situation is different. The best way you can do is, one, everyone's going to have a different starting point. 2, you have to realize what your starting point is. 3, you also have to realize what your game plan is to where you want to be. That's why coming up with a plan is the most critical part to financial success. It's not just saying, I want it, so then it's going to manifest it. No, you actually have to come up with a plan step by step, every step along the way, and then make those steps as you go. And then you may have to readjust, you may have to change, but as long as you have a plan, you will make it. The ones that plan make it. The ones that don't make it. And it's hard because the ones that don't plan look like they're free and they're not. And the people who plan look like they're boring, but that's the best way to go.
Exactly, 100%.
I can't tell you how many times people have not planned for anything and just went out there, and now they're my age. They're like, oh well, I got nothing to my name. I need to say, how can I start saving? It's like, oh, dude, you already missed out on 2 decades of the best.
And that's where the scammers come in.
Yep, that's where they come in, and you've already missed out on your best decades for building wealth, and it sucks. So if you're young, realize that whatever someone else young is telling you to do the exact opposite. If they're telling you to not worry about it, don't live like you never get tomorrow, do the opposite. Live like you expect to be here tomorrow, because they're the ones that have no money when you hit my age at 40. Shout out to Danny Boy. Government wants to tax automatic weapons like they did cigarettes. That's probably more likely what's going to happen. So then only wealthy people can get guns. But people fail to realize is that cons, like people who commit felonies and criminal acts with guns, don't buy registered guns. They buy counterfeit guns or hot guns.
Exactly. Like, especially in Chicago.
Yeah. Which I would not want to use a counterfeit gun, because that sucker can blow up in your hand, blow off your hand, blow up in your face. Or it could, like one guy, I think this was like a couple years ago, he had a counterfeit gun, he went to fire it, and the top part of the barrel wasn't like all the way secure, so it blew back and punched through his skull. So it's like, I would not want to do that.
Was it fatal?
Yeah, it killed him instantly. I mean, it was right above his eye, just right through it. I mean, he was holding it. He was only maybe like a foot away from the guy, but the barrel just went back this way. but that's the risk you get with counterfeit guns.
And also, people use guns that other people like. They buy guns off the street and shit. And like that other person you bought it off of, they could have killed somebody with that gun. So you ever get caught with that gun, and that gun is linked to another murder, I mean, you're going down for that murder, not the dude who actually did it. You're going down.
Yes, but regardless, if you restrict access to law-abiding citizens, then all you do is increase the probability that the other side will have it.
Exactly. People don't understand that. I get tired. I get tired of like having these type of debates with people when it comes to guns. And it's like you law-abiding citizens, people who are truly law-abiding citizens. All it's going to do, you take away from the law-abiding citizens, who gets access to it? Terrorists. And when you go to jail, prison, and you commit a felony, like they label you as a terrorist. I don't know if people know that, but they actually, you are labeled in the system as a terrorist, whether you know it or
Yep.
not. If you
Domestic
commit a
terrorist.
nefarious, yeah, you're a domestic terrorist. And prison, people talk about slavery, privately owned prisons and prison in general. That is slavery. I mean, it's all animals in there. But yeah, and I talked about this on my TikTok. You had people like Kai Cenat, Mr. Beast even did it at one point, like make a prison stream. And that also goes in with the elites. They use like these social media actors and these influencers, and it's an agenda to make prison cool. Same thing in hip hop, and it just makes people just feed into the system. You're just having more young, agile prisoners, aka slaves, in the system because that's the agenda. Prison's cool. Doing degenerate shit is cool. Like I hate it.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because like one of my uncles on my mom's side lived that life, and it's not a pretty life. He died at my age, 40. He died 22 years ago. I remember I was a little kid at the time, but he was only 40, and he was a drug dealer, and he was or a street pharmacist, as you want to call him. He was in that life, and he lived by the sword, and he died by the sword. And unfortunately, when he went to one of his safe houses, thought it was safe, and then out of nowhere, the people that were supposedly protecting him killed him in his sleep. He's like, you don't want to live that life. You don't want to fall into that life. It's like there's nothing romanticized about it. There's nothing. You age many years you take many years off your life because you're so worried. You're always checking over your back. You want to be in a nice place where you don't have to constantly look over your shoulder. You did everything right, and you can live your life in peace and really pursue your happiness. Shout out to Reptile King. What do you think of crypto? How long have you been doing crypto and talking about this? That's a good question there. I think crypto's here for the long. I think some regulations will come, good or bad, but they're eventually going to come. I've been in crypto for 2 years. Cody's been in, I think, 3 years. Cody is the one that got me into crypto. And we've been talking about this for the last 6 months. We've just been on live talking about it and running this channel. So not too long at this, but we just decided to put it on as a channel for you guys because we talk about this all the time. It's just nonstop texting. And, we figured, well, might as well just do live streams about it, try to build.
Might as well broadcast what we talk about. Yeah, because
Yeah, exactly.
the people need to see this. People need to understand that crypto is not necessarily bad like the media paints it. It's when you hear people talk about losing money in crypto, or when you hear the bad media narratives, it's not necessarily about Bitcoin. And when it is, it's not really, it's kind of biased when it is about Bitcoin. But what I want to say is, it's like when you DCA and you do research on actual established projects and you actually DCA, you ignore the media and you ignore people, you do your thing. That is what we promote.
Yes. And, just thinking with crypto from a logical standpoint, don't try to do degenerate trades, moonshotting your life savings, because that's never going to work. But that's what we do. But we're kind of come to the end. I got to start making some calls that were call back some calls that were coming in. And we had a pretty good live for coming back after like 5 days. So terribly sorry for you guys. My moving company's just been busy. busy, and I finally have a chance to go live. But we will be going live tomorrow morning, and I will be going live in the evening tomorrow. Hopefully, I can reach out to Crypto Dream and we can just do the stream on Monday, because I know this time it's going to be Black Friday, and it's definitely going to be interesting. Oh, shout out to I Am Him. I wonder if that's a Kang reference. Actually, I love the new MCU with Kang. I hope they get to keep him. Heard they're moving away from that as a villain, but the Kang villain would have been so great, so great. They already hyped it up too much. They have to stick to it. But with that said, guys, we're going to clock out today. Cody's got to go to work soon. I got to do some things for my moving company before I'm done for the day. Maybe we can relax a little bit. But hey, thank you guys for joining in. Really appreciate you guys. Shout out to I Am Him. Thanks for supporting the live. Really appreciate that. I really hope that's a Kang reference, because that'd be so funny if it was a Kang reference. We're gonna check clock out today. There's some videos that are gonna be posting to the Patreon that won't be live on YouTube for a while. Just keep in mind, everything's maybe a couple weeks behind on YouTube for video postings. But join us tomorrow for crypto market news. There's gonna be a lot of market coverage we're gonna have to go over, because we got to cover the Black Friday and that sales weekend, because if it's bad sales, be prepared for a bad market. Be prepared for bad times ahead. But with that saying, guys, stay safe out there. Do your own research. Invest in what you understand. Don't moonshot your life savings. Also, go to codyharris.eth on TikTok. Go support his channel, and he puts up more than just crypto content up there too for you guys. So definitely give him a follow.
Thank you for that.
And also, oh, you're welcome, buddy. And also, I know Crypto Dream wasn't in here today, but also give him a follow too. He has his own YouTube channel and crypto channel, so follow him there. He does some nice takes on cryptos, different viewpoints, and things like that. But with that said, guys, we're going to be signing off. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you guys tomorrow morning.